So there's this vegan influencer from Russia named Zhanna, and she's reportedly died of starvation and exhaustion in Malaysia after switching to an extreme diet where she would only eat exotic tropical fruits. She called herself not a frugivore, what is it, a fruitarian? She would only eat these fruits and nothing else. She was also on a raw diet, which means you don't cook anything, and that's supposed to make it healthier. That's news to me. But yeah, she reportedly died of an infection that was like cholera, and it was exacerbated by the fact that she was extremely malnourished. And I went and looked at her page and just scrolled down, and she used to have a more healthy look about her. She used to have like more fat in her face and looked like there was still life in her eyes. But if you look at the newer posts that were more recent, she's like chewing this food that it looks like she wants to gag, and she's increasingly like rail thin, just doesn't look like she
There's a picture of her, at least of her arm.
There was like a video of her trying to open one of these durian fruits, and she was like struggling. So, no matter how many posts to propagandize people into veganism that have, skinny girls in bikinis smiling and eating watermelons, the reality is that if you go to the extreme with it, you could be dying of slow suicide. Which is extremely sad. This woman was 39.
You did veganism for a while?
Yeah, I was vegan as a teenager for about 5 years, from when I was like 14 to 19. And I do consider myself, victim of that propaganda that was sold in like the 2015, 2016 era of like YouTube veganism. I watched all of these vegan YouTube channels that told I wanted to like have a healthier diet, and they told you, you need to just be eating like 15 bananas a day and tons of potatoes, and that's going to heal your body and detox you. Yeah. When in reality, it just means you're not consuming the nutrients that keep you alive, especially B12.
And they mentioned
like,
that here.
Does anyone feel personally victimized by Freely the Banana Girl? Because I know I do. And a lot of these vegan YouTubers, they for some reason flock to South Asian countries like Malaysia or Thailand, where you can get more access to these exotic fruits like from the source. And they are a cult. I do consider them a cult because a lot of them know each other, and they become social media influencers to recruit other people into this ideology. Like, it becomes a lifestyle and a religion more than just a diet.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you wanted to ever stop, you're admitting defeat.
And it's like one way you can judge that is like people who live that lifestyle rarely have less than strong opinions about stuff like this. They have to have strong opinions on all things that come with it, right?
And if there's any vegan influencer who stops being vegan, they come after them.
So
they make videos about them, trashing them, saying, you were never a real vegan, you're fraud, blah, blah, blah. So they're totally disincentivized from thinking, maybe I don't feel so great on this diet, and I need to stop because I'm having health issues, because you're going to get flamed on the internet for questioning the religion. I went and looked at some of her posts, and she was clearly indoctrinated. She was holding a bunch of these fruits and holding up her arm, and it just looks like she has zero muscle mass and zero body fat.
Here's a picture of it. I was like, people thought I was just showing the article earlier. I just want to show you a picture of her arm.
That's the picture I'm talking about, and that was from 2020. Yep. So she's been starving for a long time, and a lot of people think that she wasn't really vegan. She was kind of using it as a front for an eating disorder, which is common. She said, skinny but strong. Is it possible? Being thin doesn't mean weak. Being big and bulky doesn't mean strong. Recognize that we all come in different shapes and sizes, and that all people are inherently valuable regardless of the way they look.
This is a false. I hate it when they bring this up, right? It's when they bring up like nobody's saying that being skinny or being fat diminishes your self-worth. That's a false equivalency. It's also really funny in the show in Twisted Metal. There's a side plot with these two security guards who get taken under, or one who gets taken under the wing of Sweet Tooth, and a guy makes fun of him for being fat, and he goes, first of all, so he goes, weight doesn't equate to health, and like everybody just gives him this look like, are you serious, dude?
She said, just as being big and bulky with muscles that look like the Incredible Hulk doesn't necessarily mean that you're strong. That's not true. Being skinny doesn't mean weak either.
I mean, there are people who look bulky, who look bigger than they are, that aren't necessarily as strong as
sometimes they're like Liver King. Sometimes they're taking a lot of steroids that make them look stronger than they are. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it's normal or healthy to look the way she looks. That's certainly not the case.
I mean, look at her hair, and I mean that was what stuck out to me, was that she just like her hair looks like it's going gray. She's starting to go gray
at 39, and
I
in
feel very bad for
that
her.
picture on the left, she just looks like way healthier and happier. And this was slowly killing her. And a lot of her friends were quoted in the article saying that they were talking to her during the time that she was approaching death's door, saying that she was running from treatment and she got coronavirus pretty instantly after she went back to Russia and has like a poor immune system. One friend said it was scary to look at her, to be honest. Her hands were thin like my 12-year-old sister's. They sent her home to seek treatment, but she ran away again. And when I saw her in Thailand, I was horrified.
There were...
Another one said her idle starvation was causing her to melt before our eyes, but she believed everything was fine. Only her eyes and hair compensated for the dreadful sight of a body tortured by idiocy. Forgive me if that sounds harsh. That's very Russian to say that. And she just couldn't budge on this because it was her entire worldview that was going to collapse if she admitted she was in the wrong. Yeah. So it's kind of scary that a lot of people are still denying the truth. A lot of her followers are in the comments saying no, she died because there was some like chemicals in her fruit that poisoned her.
Thank you. I wasn't like it wasn't even that she was going gray at 39 to me. It was like the hair just genuinely looks unhealthy to me.
Yeah. But we're supposed to deny reality, right? Like there's this other YouTuber who is not vegan, but she clearly has a really, really severe case of anorexia, named Eugenia Cooney. Some people in the chat might know who she is. And she's been on YouTube for a long, long time and has been severely emaciated the entire time that she's been a public figure. And for a long time, she just denied that there was an issue. And there were people like saying, stop commenting about how she looks. It's mean. And it's like, if it's mean to care whether somebody lives or dies, then I guess I'm a jerk. I'm still going to call it what it is. Yeah. And this Eugenia Cooney is like approaching her 30s now, and that's like a critical time when someone has an eating disorder that severe, where they, are very likely to die at an extremely early age. But, you can't call that out because that would make you a cyberbully. Also, Zhanna publicized her weird cure for COVID. She said she didn't drink water or eat any food for 10 days to cure herself of COVID when she was bedridden. She said, I began to cure myself with dry fasting since for a long time I've been practicing this method. It can cure all ailments. The illness gradually began to recede. Already the days of dry hunger, and I was getting better every day. The most critical time is behind me, and I've overcome this disease despite my unconventional treatment, which many condemn. Well, it didn't end well for her.
No. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing is very, very sad.
And then there was the other situation that recently happened in Florida. There was this mom who was vegan and raising her son vegan, and he died at 18 months old because he succumbed to starvation due to a diet consisting solely of small amounts of fruits and vegetables. That's child abuse. When you also raise a dog or cat vegan, that's animal abuse. Call it what it is, you know? I'm not saying that you can't be healthy or live into old age if you're vegan. Like, there are plenty of people who have.
No, there are. But
they cook their food and they eat things other than fruit. Yeah. And they don't starve themselves for 10-day periods. That's not a thing.
The thing that I've noticed is that they always like the people that I know that are vegan, that are successful at it, talk about how hard it is. Like, not like hard as in like for them lifestyles, but like, you know, to be able to find what they need.
You have to actually think about what you eat.
Yeah,
in order
it's not easy.
Be healthy on that diet. And I don't think it's the optimal way to live. Yep. You can do it, and you can be relatively healthy on that diet. I mean, Freely the Banana Girl obsessively posts her blood test results to show everyone that she's not deficient in anything, which is fine. Like, if you're healthy on a vegan diet, that's fine. But this woman clearly wasn't, but was relying on a bunch of true believers in this cult to defend her decisions, which were clearly insane. Also, a lot of her followers are refusing to believe that her eating choices led to her death. And they're claiming in her comment sections that she was killed by chemicals in the fruit she ate. Although her cause of death has not been confirmed, it seems to be that it was definitely her malnourishment that led to her death. And it shouldn't have happened. No,
it's very, very sad. And it's...
the cult of online veganism is crazy because, like, even Nikocado Avocado was one of them. Nikocado was a vegan YouTuber before he became this laughingstock joke of a mukbang YouTuber. But he likely became a binge eater because he was vegan for years and was severely malnourished. And when he stopped being vegan, all of these vegan influencers trashed him and raked him over the coals for it because you didn't toe the line. You didn't stay within the bounds of our ideology. It's scary.
Funny how that falls just in line with the same thing that's going on in Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
Fall in line, and you get the comfort of being part of this group, and it gives you an identity and it gives you some place to belong, but you're not allowed to deviate from the group in any way, shape, or form, lest the group turn its back on you and actually start to rake you over the coals for having any thought that breaks from the pattern.
I think another issue with this is like the mindset that you have to live and let live. And if someone appears to be happy on a certain lifestyle, or appears to, you know, be healthy and claims that they're enjoying themselves, living a certain lifestyle that might be self-destructive, you have to celebrate them. You have to you know, say that that's a good idea because they claim to be happy. But one of her friends said, I lived a floor above her, and every day I feared finding her lifeless body in the morning. I convinced her to seek treatment, but she didn't make it. And one of her posts on Instagram said, I see my mind and body transform every day. I love my new me and never move on the habits that I have always used. I eat simple food. And just because she's saying that she's happy and healthy, we're supposed to believe her and celebrate her.
This is kind of
It's just like Lizzo. Like, I'm not going to say that that's healthy just because someone claims to be happy and healthy on a certain lifestyle. It doesn't mean that's the truth. And it's more compassionate to just call it like it is.
Yeah, like in a lot of ways. I mean, I talk to you all the time about how I probably, like, you end up getting more crap because you actually care about what happens to these people, but because you tell them something they don't want to hear, they might not necessarily want to hear, you're going to get backlash for saying that. Whereas someone like me who just doesn't care what you do, I'm not going to necessarily get that same backlash because I'm just going to be like, look, you make your own decisions. It's not my life. I'm not going to celebrate you, but I'm also not going to condemn you because it's not my business, right? So I'm going to be the one who gets like left alone because I just don't care. And you're going to be the one who actually gets pushback for it when you clearly care enough The problem is they ascribe your desire to say this because you think it's bad for them as just mere nagging or some type of
like a superiority
or
thing.
to be rude when that's not necessarily your point.
Right. It's not just vegans, and it's not just when someone's fat that I'm going to call them unhealthy. If you're eating nothing but like raw beef liver and egg yolks all day and it's causing you to have gut problems, that's unhealthy too. That's extreme, and it's going to kill you if you keep going.
I'm sure Mary will.
There are plenty of influencers that do that shit, and I call it out the same way.
Yeah.
And it's not fat phobia when I say Lizzo is unhealthy, because I will call it unhealthy when it's a Eugenia Cooney or this, raw food influencer too.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.